A wood stove is one of the simplest and oldest ways of heating. It's also one of my favorite. I made one on this wood stove and it got a little bit of attention. Nothing like putting it out on the internet there for people to tell you what you've done wrong. So this one in particular, you can see we got quite a bit of creosote buildup in there from all the carbon. I kind of like these tent stoves for that reason, because you could take them apart and clean them out. One thing people were suggesting a lot was that I put a damper in here, and if you look right here, it has a damper. I think I'm going to remove it. You can tell as this gets further away from the stove, the buildup gets a little thicker. So one of the biggest problems that we had going on here was that this pipe, as it went through the wall, turned this way. When we go inside, I'll show you why that's a big no-no. I should have brought a ladder down. So one of the things that people were very concerned about was the height of this chimney above the roof. The rule of thumb is that you need to be 2 foot higher than anything 10 feet away. So in this case, the roof's not very steep. I guess it'd probably take another section to be there, and they're not wrong that that helps with the draft. I am working with a pellet stove manufacturer for another build that we're doing, and in talking to them, he said if you are in the woods, in the mountains, sheltered from the wind, and don't have a very large volume of roof, like this little cabin tucked back here next to this hill in the woods, that it's not as big a deal. This is a tent stove kit, so it comes with just a limited amount of stovepipe, and we put it together based on what we had. I have since bought 2 more sections. You can see this one's bright and shiny, and so is this one, and we got it just a little bit higher. We'll see if that makes a difference. So I think this damper is also part of the problem here. If it falls shut, obviously you're restricting the flow, which is great to increase burn times, but before the stove and the flue is hot, it's just going to cause problems. So I thought about taking it out or tightening it up. I think if I'm diligent about paying attention to what position it's in, which I was not before, I think it will be just fine. Kind of wish they'd put this control on this side so you could see a little better. So look at how nasty that one is. So this is the first elbow, and a lot of people said, hey, you need to go straight out the roof with that. And again, they are not wrong. Would probably prevent that, but I think this is part of a different problem. The reason I didn't go out the roof with this is I don't know that this stove will stay in here permanently. So I may want to take it out, and plugging a hole in the sidewall temporarily till you use it again versus one in the roof, much easier to keep it waterproof. So here's another part, and I think this is what's causing the carbon or the creosote buildup inside the chimney. This clamp was very loose, still a little bit loose here, but I had a different size on there, and what it was doing is allowing this pipe to run downhill. So the smoke was coming up and hitting the top of this and stopping. It wasn't able to just create a good draft. So I think I got a smaller clamp on here. I'm going to push it up so that this runs downhill to the inside. Should allow that smoke to get out with the damper open, should get it good and hot. Back to this height of the chimney cap. On my house and on the wood boiler, I just put an extension on the wood boiler for draft purposes. And on my house, we have a steep roof and the chimney sits in a valley. So getting it up above has really been key to that. What I have learned, when I first started using this stove, I was putting the kindling in here, lighting it, and then once the fire was going, I was opening the door and adding wood to it. I think that is the wrong way to go about it. I know it is now. What we want to do is get a fire lit in here, close the door, and let this entire thing all the way to the chimney cap get good and hot, and let it start to draft before we open the door. That way we're not filling this place with smoke and choking ourselves out of it. We have the damper fully open. We have the vent fully open on the front. We've got enough wood in there to get it good and hot before it burns out. We have all the pipes clear, and we have the right angle on the pipe and an extension on the top to get the draft good. Let's see how it goes. So we did have a lot of comments, and it seems like some of these technical ones on topics people are interested in get a lot of attention, and the more views, the more comments we get, good and bad. There were some interesting ones, like this one. Douche nozzle? I don't even know what that is. I definitely can't spell it. Oh. Speaking of douche nozzles.
It's okay. I've been called way worse. I will be keeping these for myself, Steve.
You should go over to Spicer Designs. Kyle Spicer does a lot of like laser engraving, plasma CNC cutting. We are working on a really cool picnic table project. He's making the ends. We're going to do a collaboration together, but good dude, hilarious, funny channel. Go check him out. Here's one from Pee-wee. Nice job, Steve. I mean, come on, nice job? Jeremiah from Outdoors in the 608 writes, I mean, what the heck, are you kidding? No, I'm just kidding. He actually has a pretty cool firewood channel. You can go check his out as well. And Pee-wee's a good fan. He puts a lot of comments on there. We like seeing these guys around. Here's one. Do you exhale under your blanket? No, I've just been holding my breath for many years. I think this is pretty good and hot. I can hear it coming up this pipe, and boy, you could feel it. I think that temperature gauge needs adjusted. It says it's 800 degrees right now. Moment of truth. Look at that. No well, a little bit of smoke. But not bad. That is definitely, before you would open it, it just came roaring out here and you couldn't even see across the cabin. That's got the, and I don't have much wood in here, otherwise I would have more in there and let it go a little longer, but that's good. I would say that that is a win. It's drafting appropriately. That is not too much smoke that you would even mind. Just kind of gives it that little smoky ambiance, a little smell in your cabin that we like. A lot of people too giving options besides a wood stove, and I don't think they're wrong. We're gonna do some more experiments in here. I've got a little diesel heater I want to try using out here. A couple options. One guy even said insulate it well enough and you won't need heat. Also, they're not wrong. I really enjoy wood heat. I enjoy the dry feel of it. I enjoy the smell, a little bit of smoke. I like those things. So I think this is a good option for me, but we're going to explore around with some other ones. Right now I'm going to make a cup of coffee. Organic instant coffee. My wife bought it for me. It's really all over the floor. It's not bad. True outdoorsman. Gotta stir your mud with a stick. Let's say that stove's plenty hot. So speaking of coffee, there's a very interesting comment. Very passionate tea drinker. I'm not sure what to make of it, but you can decide. Well, that's about it for me today. I think we spent enough time reanalyzing the stove here. If you guys have more comments, more advice, or if you just want to call me a douche nozzle, feel free to do so below. I love reading the comments, good, bad, and the ugly.